What's up, guys? Streaming. This is my training session, so might as well just bring you through on what I normally do for the side delts. Yes, only side delts. No front, no back for today because I did front and back already, but I'll still walk you through if you have any questions on overall development, because in order to get a perfect round shoulder, it's not just about the side, it's the combination of front, the side, yes, the side, which is a pretty big portion, and the rear delt. Okay, so this stream, because I want to make it short, keeping it simple for everyone to digest. Today, I just want to share the weaker link of my shoulder, right? Surprisingly, I have a pretty dominant rear delt. Not the biggest out there, but a lot of people struggle with rear delts, but it's not my case. So side delts. Okay, so anything involved in raising sideways, straightforward, will hit the side delts, the shoulders. Okay, so front delts is that simple. Back against the gravity, bending over, back will hit the rear delts. So sorry, a little bit of overexposing. Strong for this exercise. I wouldn't say best. Nothing is best. Works pretty well with this exercise is because this movement, lateral raises, lateral shoulder abduction, is an unusual movement, unlike pushing, unlike pulling in our biomechanics, right? So you don't need to go heavy for this. Okay, so here, besides doing this, common mistakes I want to address is why people are feeling so much of their traps, or the more they do the lateral raises, the traps grow, but the shoulders is not growing. It's also very common, and why you are still not getting results of the side delts. I will address them one by one. Common mistakes number one, for side delts, it's very easy for us to shrug. What is shrugging? This is shrug. I don't know, shrug. So when you do lateral raises, it's very common for the muscles, the trapezius, it's pretty large muscles, upper trapezius, upper traps, middle traps, and lower traps. The upper and middle will take over because of your traps will pull your shoulder, will compensate the movement. So this is an indication of sometimes the weight is too heavy. All right, so this will happen. See? Right, you can't tell. It seems like doing a standard form. I wouldn't say it's good or perfect form, standard form, but I'm shrugging on purpose, right? So this is what happened in the gym. And now I can clearly tell you that I'm not feeling much on my shoulders. I'm feeling a lot on my traps. It's like this. It's like I'm using my traps. See? Traps. They're getting burned. So this is the number one reason why you're feeling so much of your traps. Solution is try to keep your shoulder low and not to raise them too high up. Right? A lot of misconception, and as people believe that the higher you go, the more shoulder you will get. But to be honest, I don't really find it. In fact, I go the higher, anything like my elbow, anything higher than my middle chest, I will start feeling on my traps. So the key is you don't have to go really high up. As long as your elbow, chest level is good enough, right? If elbow, shoulder level, in my opinion, depending on your mobility, well, women can get away with this, but I can't. I start feeling a lot of my joints and my trapezius, all right? So key number one, keep your shoulder low. Number two, elbow height to chest level. Which level of chest? Nipple line, lower chest line, that's good enough. Just like this. Shoulder low, and just like this. Pretty small movement. Yep. Okay, give it a try. This is lesser trapezius. Now, lesser traps. I mentioned lesser traps, not completely no traps. Why? It's because this movement, lateral raise, is part of this biomechanics. Somehow your traps is a stabilizer. no matter how good is your form, you will still get a little bit of traps. You will still get it, right? It's just a matter of how dominant is your traps will get into play, which is you can minimize them, but not completely eliminating the traps, right? So bear with it. Okay, so number 2, and that is what else you can do to eliminate your traps, getting more shoulders, and that is when you do lateral raises, all right, try to lead with your elbow. Visualize using your elbow, leading the work, not your wrist. If you think of your wrist, well, the lever is the lever or lever, L-E-V-E-R, sorry, Asian slang, is further. Yes, it's harder, but the further the lever, the more stabilizer needed for the traps. So just imagine, this is a mind muscle thing, right? Just imagine elbow is doing the work, right? Grip is just like a hook. Shoulder low, grip is just like a hook. Lead with your elbows. Okay, try this. You can use 2 arms at a time. I'm using 1 arm just for demo. Okay, small movement, small muscles, small movement, but big results. So far, comment, what have you learned so far? Share this, right? Because people just came in, some people, friends, just entered this chat and they might miss out earlier, so to be sure, they still don't miss out the good thing. What have you learned? Okay, so shoulders definitely is the muscles that I think everybody should train, especially if you want to build a beautiful physique, right? If your goal is to get a stronger endurance physique, then I think it's not compulsory thing. It's not really compulsory, but it's still worth a go, right? Looking a little bit good with shirt, right? Okay, so the last tip for eliminating the traps to get more shoulders is when you do lateral raises. When you do lateral raises, yes, you shouldn't shrug. Number 1, you shouldn't bring your arms too high up, right? Elbow to chest level is good enough. That's number 1. That's number 2. Number 3 is leading with your elbow. Correct. Now, number 4, tip number 4. This is intermediate level. Beginners, I know a lot of things that you digest. If you follow the first 3 steps, probably is good for you. Number 4 is when you do lateral raises, your mind, of course, must focus on the muscles. But if you still feel a lot of your traps, try to implement this. Okay, when you do lateral raises, whether it's not on dumbbell, cables, or machine, imagine your wrist. Imagine a dumbbell got a magnet from the wall. Your dumbbell trying to stick to the dumbbell, trying to pull your arms towards that side. In other words, elongate. Because if you elongate, most likely you would use your delts rather than keeping it close, right? So when you do lateral raises, elongate. Imagine your back being stretched. Elongate, right? Elongate your arms being stretched. Then recover, stretch. Okay, this is more shoulders. Okay, I'm so sorry I can't read your comments right now because this video is about demo and to bring you through what you can do without fancy equipment to train your dumbbell. Obviously, if you really can't invest a dumbbell, at least you can invest a bottle of water, right? So this can get a 3 liter or 2.5 is about very lightweight and practice this. But in my opinion, I don't think they are effective because our muscles deserve a certain tension and load to grow, right? So please get yourself a pair of dumbbell, right? It will be worth the investment, not just for the shoulders, but you can do so many things for full body if you have a dumbbell at home. Okay, next is lateral raises. Now you know how to do lateral raises. Now I want to talk about variations. There will be a lot of variations. There's dumbbell, there's machine, there's cables, and there is lying, so many. Today I want to share one variation that everybody can get started with without complicated, without being too complicated, and that is using bench. Okay, so this is the thing. The only challenge of this variety is you need to get a bench, right? So this bench, how it's going to work is setting in like an 80 degree, not really 90, right? Because you need a little bit of lean, and add the heavier dumbbell here. So if your house got bench but you don't have heavy dumbbell, you can put something that is heavy, something, just whatever thing you can think of to enforce, because you don't want a bench to fly up. Because what we are about to do here is leaning forward and do lateral raises. Okay, this is one of my favorite variety, and you might ask, hey, why complicating this exercise? Now, the reason why I like to use a bench is because the dumbbell, I have this common thing, and that is sometimes I will use my lower back swinging, or I have a bad habit, to be honest, I have this bad habit, and that is when I do lateral raises, I will have this subconscious behavior, and that is trying to lowering myself to get the movement done, complete, right? This is like cheating, right? Obviously, this is not good as well, unless you want to train your lower back. Well, to be honest, there's no strong definition of what is right, what is wrong, but since you're here, might as well learn something, share something. I'm sharing something that truly can get your shoulders work more. Why not, right? So lateral raises, they are great. If you can maintain a strict form, they are good. But to make it even more challenging, you can use a seated version. But to be honest, seated still, I personally find that seated, sometimes I can still bend my back, and this is using this bench, okay? So I'm gonna do like how many repetitions? I'm gonna do my reps, my working style, my official working weight, so you can see how heavy I lift. It would disappoint many of you because I'm not strong. And yeah, on how I focus on. First working set for the side delts. All right, let's go. So the weight that I'm using is going to be 10 kilos each side. Yep, pretty heavy for many because I've been training for many years. And yeah, just like this, full stretch at the bottom. Up, as you can see, I'm not going up too high. It's not really necessary. As long as from here, elbow to chest level, that's good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do 5 more. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next question, you may ask how many repetitions? Well, for shoulder, I personally think that you can go a little bit higher reps, like above 12 reps. Okay, compared to compound, if you do like barbell back squat, definitely you want to keep the reps lower, because anything too high is your lower back going to kick in, or other muscle groups going to fatigue first. But exercise the isolations, lateral raises, the isolations, single muscle group, single joint, it's okay to work on a higher end, above 12 reps. Next question you may ask, lateral raises, should you go like this? Should you go backward? Should you go sideways? Yes, sideways. But as you notice, the bench, they are not really 90 degree. They are something like 80. Okay, the reason why is your shoulders, if you do lateral raises, by logic, is like side raises, sideway, right? You may ask. To get more side delts, it's actually not like this, right? If you look at the muscle fibers of side delt, they are not completely downward side. They are moving, it's like across, it's like towards front, right? So the angle that I personally prefer is going to be somewhere like this instead of this. This is totally side, right? So the grip that I prefer is like this. Okay, follow the muscle fibers, right? As you can see, it's like this. So when I use the bench, this gives me a great angle. The bench from here by right looks straight, looks straight, but I'm leaning a little bit forward. Okay, work on this. Like I said, this is everybody is different. Maybe you feel better even lower. I know like my friends, they even prefer like as low as almost like a reverse flies, but they get a lot of side delts, right? You can even play with this instead of this, going a little bit forward. See, when I stand straight, it's like this. This plane of movement. This plane, you'll get more side delts, right? Obviously, the more you go, the more real delt involved. Example, the more you bend over, extreme level, like this. This is not really extreme, but just imagine you want to train your side delts with this angle, then definitely it's more real delt. But one interesting thing about shoulders is shoulders, yes, they are front, side, and back. But to be honest, our shoulder don't really work that way. Our shoulder is just like multi-fibers going downward, just like Thanos' jaw, right? You know, going downward. So it's like there's no fixed partition, and that is, you use this angle, it's only side. You use another angle, it's totally rear delt, not side delt. It works across. So you can even work like the back area of the side delt. The side delt is pretty big. Let me flex, right? You see, the lining, pretty huge, pretty big. So if you only stick to one angle, probably you'll get more activation, still overall, but play around with the angle. Once in a while, go a little bit lower. Once in a while, you can go like totally upright. Play with the angle. Just sharing the basics. Yeah? Yes, for women as well, yes, the exercise, you know what? Training in exercise, men and women, we are human, we are the same, right? It is a myth, and that is people believe that certain workout is only for guys, certain workout is only for girls. It is the same. Rep range, the same, right? Definitely, it's just the focus is different. Most women want to have bigger glutes, less dominant chest, like shoulders. So priority is different, but the training method, the rep range, the biomechanics is pretty similar, right? Yeah, I think it's similar. It's just that according to your experimentation, whether or not you prefer upright or prefer even lower. I personally prefer 80%. All right, enough of talk. Second set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Focusing. I can't really talk during my set. 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, here's the thing. 15 repetitions is my goal, but I think I still can do like a couple more, so I'll just carry on. 2, 3, 15. 20 reps. Woo. Okay, for the side delts, and you came here maybe because it's not for side delts, maybe because of abs, because the thumbnail and the title of this video is about abs, right? I'm so sorry. Let me cover shoulders first because it's my halfway during my working set. Might as well for me just finish up shoulder first. Okay, next question, and that is maybe the grip. You have a question that is, should you stick to this grip? How about this grip? How about this grip, right? Now, grip also involved in the activations. If you go like this, supinated grip with dumbbell, with cable, or even with machine. What happens if you supinate the grip? It's not really about the grip. It's because when you grip, you supinate the grip, kinetic chain is your elbow will kind of will point downward. And when the elbow is downward, what happens is front delt is more dominant, okay? Because of the angle. Front delt will be more dominant, right? Still, what if you want to do supinated but on a lateral raises plane? Yes, you will still get side raises, you still get the side delt, but more towards the anterior part of the side delt, right? Remember, you change your grip angle is because of the kinetic chain of the elbow movement. So more front delt if you do it this way, neutral, more side delts. And what if go pronated in the extreme is like this? What if you go at pronated? In my opinion, it's still side delts. And as you can see, my rear delts popping out. Yeah, can see? Compared to this. You see? Look at my rear delts. Okay, more rear delts if you do like this, right? Of course, if you do this way, some people felt too much stress on their AC joint, on their rotator cuff. So, recommendation: stick to neutral. Okay, trial and error, like I said, is always, there's no one fixed exercise that works for everybody, right? Try your own. Okay, so my third set now, it's a good time to play with the grip. Mentioned, like this is more to the front delt. All right, this is what I did earlier, the standard. Now I'm going to do pronated. Wow, I start feeling the stress already. Yeah, it's more stressful to the shoulder joint. So do this at your own risk. 3, 4, 5, 6, whoa, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's really interesting because by just changing the grip, it's like changing the whole exercise. It's different experience, different feeling. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. As you can see, the movement is pretty small, yeah? It's not big movement. 17, 18, 19. What do I mean by movement? As in, you see my lateral raise, my movement is from here to here. It's just from here to here. Especially at a pronated grip, the range of motion is even smaller, yeah? So it's okay to go smaller range of motion. It's not necessary to go big range of motion for side delts. Okay, your delts really, as long as you give a good full stretch here, to here, elbow, chest level, it's good enough. Anything higher, maybe more traps, right? I personally felt that it's more traps. Okay. So you choose internal rotation or external rotation, it depends, right? For me, I personally will go for neutral grip. Neutral grip. If I think that my front is lacking, I want more front side of the side shoulder or even front delts, I will go with external rotation. This is external rotation, right? You want more rear delt? Internal rotation, right? Of course, the benefit of external rotation is the range of motion. You see, by doing this external rotation, I can do this without any pressure on my shoulder joint. It's more shoulder friendly. So in other words, if you have shoulder discomfort, just do external rotation lateral raise. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, although I mentioned it's more to the front side of the side delt, but still you get the work done if you feel that neutral grip or pronated grip is too stressful. Try. Just do neutral grip. You can go up to here. But like I said, it's good enough. You don't have to go really high up. But I'm just giving you an example of if you do external rotation, it's more friendlier to the shoulder joint, to the shoulder socket. Yeah, if you go pronated, worse. Okay? How many sets, how many repetitions? Generally, I don't like to say how many sets per session. I will recommend per week how many sets, because in order to grow muscles, it's recommended to do about 6 to 8 sets for that muscle group, yeah, per week. So 8 sets maybe take off too much of your time. Not everyone like me, because fitness is a full-time thing, yeah. You can split your shoulder session, right? Maybe Tuesday, 4 sets, and then Thursday, another 4 sets, and that's good enough, just for the side delts. 4 sets, 8 sets a week. 8 sets a week. All right, so for information, this is set number 4 for me, set number 4. Right, I think I'll just stick to neutral grip. instead of pronated internal rotation. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. 5. Oh. Let's stop. 6, 7. Come on. Oh. You see, if I do the standing version without the bench, I can easily go up to 20 repetitions or even 30 reps with 10 kilos. But with this variation, the bench supported, I have no room to lean back or using lowering my lower body to complete the movement, right? So give this a shot. Yet again, please remember to put a heavier object here, because it's like, without this, it's like with dumbbell, it's discomfort. It will just move, it will fall forward. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so that's side delts. And one last tip I want to share for side delts. Oh man, this is like my online training. This is just like I'm giving everything from what I know about side delts. So for information, you want to learn more about my training, download my training app. My training app is Train with Jordan. Right, New Year is around the corner, December, year end, and you want to come back on track. You want to learn more about all this. There's more in my training app. Download my training app. They are free, except of course premium contents like more program, more training. To unlock more training, you have to subscribe. But it's super reasonable. It's super cheap. Yeah. Compared to your Starbucks coffee. All right, so one last tip I want to share is, now you already know the basics on how to get lesser traps, what grip you should use, using the bench version, how many reps, how many times you train your shoulder a week. One last tip I want to share, and that is this doesn't just apply on shoulders. This basically apply in whole, as long as you want to build muscles. One principle that has been proven effective, and that is when you work on your muscles, there will be always the range of motion. There will be a starting range, that's the lengthened range, right? The mid range, and then the peak range, the shortened range, okay? And then the eccentric. So there's recent studies, there's some studies actually, not a reason, some studies actually have been proven that which range of motion is the most important. If possible, try to work on the exercise that gives you the most stretch. For example, lateral raises is from here to here, correct? So you want to increase the stretch. Try to use the exercise that gives you the highest tension at the lengthened position, right? For example, dumbbell. Here, dumbbell. Tell me which face of the dumbbell has the highest tension? A, B, or C? Again, A, B, or C? A, B, C, which face of the dumbbell gives the highest tension? Comment. All right, let me know to see that are you learning? Yeah. So which face? Yes, C, right? C is the highest tension, but C is not the lengthened range of motion. C is the shortened phase, the shortening, right? So you want to work, if you want to get the best out of the best, to work your shoulders or chest or legs, try to pick the exercise. Try, okay? I'm not saying that you must. Basically, dumbbell, when you do lateral raises, is good enough already. You will grow. But if you got the choice, try to add and do exercises that gives you most tension at A, not C, okay? Because A is what where you get the stretch, right? So stretch, we call this a long length tension, and then when here you get the most tension at the stretch, from the stretch, most likely you'll get a little bit more results, a little bit more, okay? Because at the end of the day, I believe as long as you train the muscles, it's good enough. It's just I'm sharing this tip, right? So what exercise can give you this benefit? Cable. You can use a cable. So cable, the tension is different from dumbbell. I mean, the tension is the same with dumbbell, obviously, still weight, but the motion, the degree of the tension is different, right? You see which tension that gives you the most right now. Here, I'm stretching. I'm already stretching. My muscles is fighting against the weight already. You see? Where dumbbell, I'm just holding the dumbbell like this. I got no resistance here. The resistance comes in on B and C onwards. Obviously, C is the toughest because C is where the dumbbell wants to just fall down, right? So cable is opposite. Cable, the tension is from here, right? In fact, gets a little bit easier at the top. Actually, not really. At the top, still challenging. This is why cable is what gives you the so-called the constant tension exercise, right? The constant tension experience. So cable, you can even go as far as standing further a little bit, give more stretch, even more stretch, and go all the way up. Okay? So try, if you have the choice, use cable. All right? Again, cable, no, please don't do this. Okay, you can even move the cable by not using your shoulders, right? Stretch, only your rear delts, only your shoulders doing the work, right? Full stretch, right? Okay, obviously you can play the head, which degree is better, right? This is actually better. Hand level, because hand level, when you reach the top, the tension is still stronger, and then the stretch is more drastic for the shoulders. Okay, so that's shoulders for you. Now, I said cable, they are awesome. Doesn't mean that dumbbells suck, right? If you can only use dumbbell, please use dumbbell. Or even though you have cable access, but because the gym is hardly access, a lot of people using the cable, it's okay, just do dumbbell, just do the earlier version. If you miss out, please rewind this video and watch it. The earlier version is good enough. If you can't use the bench, just do standing dumbbell, it's fine. Do lateral raise, as long as you hit the muscles, consistent, 8 sets a week, you will grow. Okay, so once again, all this information can be accessed in my training app. I mentioned this over and over again. Doesn't really get outdated. It's still about repetitions, guides, basic form on how to eliminate your traps, getting more out of the muscles that you want to train. In my training app, my app name is Train with Jordan. Go download it and access. You can even do body weight, abs workouts, arms workouts. Download my app. My app name is Train with Jordan. Okay, so moving on to the last section of this apps. Okay, so many of you already know that apps, they are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. Is partly true. But why do I still post all the abs exercises that pisses many fitness experts? Because fitness experts say that abs exercises is useless. Might as well train your core. Abs exercises gives you problem in your spine. Well, I wouldn't say they're 100% wrong. They are partly right, but why I still train my abs. You see, because abs, they're still muscles. Your rectal, abdominis, it's still muscles like shoulders, right? Like if you can give a good stretch them and contract, they will pop, they will grow. So if you diet, you train weights, you train overall body, with nutrition, enough of sleep, yeah, thank you, this gentleman commented, enough of sleep, protein, do weights training, you get broader, and then your body fat goes down, your abs will pop up, right? Because density is there. All right, so if you ask me, what is my favorite abs? What is my favorite abs exercises? It's definitely going to be a hanging version of leg raises. Unfortunately, it's just overexposed because the light. My new light, check out my new light. They're awesome. My new gym light. Wow. Awesome, huh? awesome, but too strong, too powerful. It's good for reels, video shooting, but when it comes to live, I'm using phone camera. The auto exposure of this this camera is just fuck things up. Oops, sorry, pardon my language. Bad habit. Okay, so hanging leg raises, again, overexposed. Hanging leg raises. As simple. And raise is that simple. It's what targets the overall abs. Yeah, I used to believe that hanging leg raises is only for the lower abs, but it's for entire abs. Now, of course, many people also don't believe that there is no lower abs. There's only one abs. Your rectus femoris, rectus abdominis is like whole one of full stretch. My belief is, yes, you can selectively activate more the lower abs because the long muscles somehow, if you do a certain variation, I believe in the muscle spanning, non-spanning muscles. It's just like biceps curl. You can do lengthen partial, your biceps will grow overall, but if you do full range of motion, you work on a peak, somehow more muscles will activate, right? This is my own theory. I might be wrong because there's not enough evidence. I believe in lower abs too. In fact, there is a great studies, I wouldn't say it's a great study. There is a studies, must be very careful with my words. There's a study that show that you can actually hit more lower abs by doing lower abs exercises. So yeah, although abs, they are like one whole sheet of muscles. Still, if you do like exercises like this, leg raises or reverse crunches, slightly more activations towards the lower portion. Okay? All right. Now, please don't get me wrong. Doing abs exercises won't trim that layer of fat, right? It's just giving you the feeling that is burning or you are burning a layer of fat. And unfortunately, no, what burns belly fat is calorie expenditure versus calorie in. Your calorie in must be lesser than you burn. In other words, we call this calorie deficit. This is what many of you start hearing, a lot of calorie deficit thing. This is the theory. To lose weight, to lose belly fat, to lose face fat, to lose your thigh fat, your chest fat, is all about calorie deficit. Okay? So doing exercises is still will help you to build the density, but it's not enough. If you only do abs exercise like crunches, hanging leg raise, and expect weight loss, you have to do like 30,000 reps. 30,000 reps. You'll break your back, you'll break your arms. Still, you only like lose like 1 pound. All right, so not enough, right? You have to, we call this a complement. You have to complement with your cardio. You don't even need to do cardio. If you think cardio sucks, just walk every day, 6K steps, 5K steps is a good start. Take the stairs. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And then high protein will help you. Abs exercises will help you. Okay? So before I go, and this exercise definitely is intermediate level because a lot of people couldn't find the balance of this. Now, I used to believe that to get this exercise correctly execute, is about having a strong core to keep yourself balanced. It's not. You can have a strongest core, but you will still swing. Okay? The key of getting this exercise executed nicely, like this, or even a leg raise, or even a toe to bar, it's not about your core. It's about your lats, your wing. Okay, so the goal is to use your lats. Imagine you're doing a pull down to hold your body, right? So your body are fixed, your torso are stabilized, and then you can execute with this movement, right? That trains the abs. Okay, so it's the lats thing. All right, how to do? Start using your lats, especially when you raise your knee. Start with the knee tuck first instead of leg raise. When you raise your knee, try to flex your lats. Flex your lats. How to flex your lats? Use a wall. Try using a wall and pressing against the wall. You can practice this. Pressing against the wall. Right? Press the wall. Feel these muscles. And then relax. Okay? Again, press against the wall. This way you activate your lats, right? Of course, if you're a beginner, you don't have lats muscles, it's harder, yeah? So it takes time. It's like a complement thing. This is why we train full body. Don't just train abs. Don't just train shoulder. Train your back, train your legs. You need legs power to do a lot of things, not this exercise, but other thing else. Full body, and you will see the complement. You see the complementary, right? The overall results, right? So here, when you're hanging, imagine pushing your arms against the wall, activate your lats, and raise just like this. 1, and when you go down, stretch your lats. So flex, contract, extend, contract, extend. That's how you will find the rhythm of balancing yourself on hanging leg raises, just like this. Okay? And advanced tip, many of you actually do this exercise, you don't feel your abs. It's very common. Yeah, this exercise is just like practicing the movement only, but doesn't really benefit the lower abs or the entire abs. If you want to use more lower abs, you have to learn how to engage your pelvic. Yeah, and that is pushing your pelvic forward, right? By do this, right, most likely you will engage your rectus abdominis rather than just using a hip flexor. Where is your hip? This is your hip flexor. Right? If you do this exercise, you won't get abs, to be honest. This is hip flexor, right? You need to rotate your hip this direction. Man, I'm so used to doing reels, I can draw an arrow here. Because this is live, I can't draw arrow. Here, like this, like this, like this. Like, oh man, I look so awkward. Yeah, okay, so, and suck in your stomach and relax, stretch, relax. Okay, once you have this, you can even do this. In fact, I recommend everyone to get started with as simple as just this exercise without any equipment. That will also benefit you from using more abs rather than a hip flexor. And that is the reverse crunches. Okay? So just like this. Oh, overexposed. Damn it. Up. Kick up to the sky. Right hip, just imagine going off the floor. Just like this. So sorry about that overexposed. I have a very powerful ceiling light. So, yep. Any other routine for abs? Many routines. There are crunches, so and so on. But to be honest, my favorite is this hanging leg raises and these reverse crunches for the overall abdominal. Right? Okay. Speaking of my favorite exercise, I love cable crunches. Yes, cable. Sadly, is not a very friendly machine for everyone to use because it's like people have to queue up, you have to queue up for the cables. It's pretty frustrating if you meet someone that is impatient, okay? So cable crunches, you can use whatever handle you want. You can even use a rope. You can use the 2D handles. Or you can just use this standard straight bar pulley cable, yeah? Okay, so be careful if you attach on this, right? Because what happened is earlier, I demonstrate a lateral raises with the lightest weight. So this bar is about 1 kilo or 2 kilo. So this will happen. If you attach, you're not aware, this will happen, right? It will fall down. It will fall. Okay, so make sure the weight, enforce the weight, right? Don't change the weight under the handle. You will get your head crushed. Okay, so just like this, if you attach or any heavy metal cable, if you attach, you find that the weight is too heavy, you want to change the weight, always press the weight and then choose your weight. Yep, seems like my out of focus. Yeah, am I out of focus? Yep. Okay. Safety first, the gym, is it's a great place for everyone, but it can be super dangerous place as well. So be careful. Hold the stack of weight first and force them. Select the weight. There you go. Cable crunches. This is how it look like. Okay, cable crunches. Okay, just like any crunches, by using weight. I love this exercise. You can do normal crunches. You can just do normal crunches. It will work. But why I prefer cable crunches is because I can load up heavy weight. Remember what I've said earlier, abdominal muscles, just like chest, just like legs, they deserve progressive overload, more reps, more weight you can play with. And why I prefer cable crunches, not just about using heavy weight, and it's because of, I mentioned earlier, the tension, the range of motion tension. You see, cable, the tension, I'm starting from A, B, C, all right, tell me. Using cable right now, my tension, which is the highest tension? A, B, or C? Again, A, B, or C? Compared to this exercise, compared to crunches, compared to this. A, B, C. A, B, C. The answer is the same. The answer is going to be the same, but with crunches, my A, no tension at all. No tension, I'm just sleeping. Right? With cable, my stretch, I can stretch. I already have tension from here. My A and B is going to be more aggressive than a typical crunches. Yes, you are right. C somehow still the most tension, but I personally find that the stretch is more from the cable. Okay, to build muscles, the stretch, the tension, the stretch tension is important, yeah? So if you can select the exercise that you can do with better, greater stretch tension, this is where you get good results. Yeah, and why you still can't get your abs why you still can't feel your abs for this exercise? It's common. This exercise, the downside is you can easily use your hand. You will end up like a leg pull down. You will end up like this. All right, I'm exaggerating, but this will happen in a micro cheating way without you noticing, if especially the weight is getting too heavy. Yeah, so the bad thing about this exercise is you can cheat with this, right? And also, people are sitting backward. When you sit backward, zero abdominal, right? Yes, you still get a stretch, but what are you training here? You're training a hamstring. You're training a hamstring. Okay, so you need to keep your hip lock in position, focusing only the crunch. Full stretch, crunch. Full stretch, repeat, right? Or I even see a lot of people do this, is, no way, man. What is this? No abs. This is, yes, you train a little bit of core, but it's like no abs. No abs, right? In order to work your abs, you must flex your spine. Flex. You must flex your spine. Flex. If you do this, it's just hip flexor. It's just hip flexor. And the worst thing is if you do sit back and bow down, sit back and bow down, no result, right? Because in the theory is you want to work your abs, it's about crunching. Stretch, crunching. Okay, so this is why the hip rotation, the pelvic tilt is very important, right? Not just for the hanging leg raises, it's not just for the reverse crunches, not just for the lower ab, but if you apply this in other exercise like the cable crunches, when you crunch down, you rotate, push hip forward, you rotate, crunch, you rotate, you get more contraction, and then of course, the stretch, contract. So if you get it right, you don't have to go really high reps, you don't have to go really heavy weight, it work. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much I want to share. And if you like more of this tutorial, guess what? You don't have to wait for my next broadcast. It's all in my training app. My training app, the Iron Mastery, it have a series of videos. If you like this kind of talking version, of course, it's more simplified than being long-winded because this is live. Live, it's not edited, it's not pre-recorded. This is real, right? No video edit, no Photoshop. And yes, the lights probably make me look a little bit better. But yeah, thank you for staying with me. Do check out my training app, Train with Jordan. And you never know how far you can go with or without my app. I truly believe that my app will give you an extra push to probably learn one or two extra things rather than just going on YouTube, because YouTube can be pretty confusing. Everyone says different thing. Yeah. So you have to give my app a shot. My app name is Train with Jordan. Okay, so I gotta go. Unfortunately, this is not a Q&A version. Yep. See ya. Keep on training, and wish everyone the best. Peace. Bye-bye.